Hi, I am Cynthia Parsons, your San Antonio real estate consultant. In last week's video, I talked about the new NAR rules and how they affect buyers. Now, be sure to go to my website if you didn't catch it before watching this one. So this week, I'm going to delve into the first part of the buyer representation agreement. This legally binding contract is essentially an employment contract between a buyer and a broker that allows a real estate professional to exclusively represent the buyer. So once the contract is signed, the buyer moves from a customer to a client. And because of this, there are specific responsibilities and duties that both parties are responsible for upholding. So let's start at the beginning with paragraphs 1 through 4. Parties, appointment, definitions, and terms. Paragraph 1, parties, is where the buyer and the agent's broker will put their contact information in the contract. Paragraph 2, appointment, is where the buyer is appointing the broker and the real estate professional to exclusively represent them. Paragraph 3 defines some of the specifics, such as acquire under 3A, which means to purchase or lease. 3B, closing in a sales transaction, relates to the date legal title to a property is conveyed to the buyer. 3C, market area, outlines the areas that the agent and the buyer are looking for real estate to purchase. And 3D, property, means any interest in real estate, including those on the MLS, other listing services, new builds, and those listed for sale by owners. Now, paragraph 4, terms, just outlines the length of the contract between the realtor and the buyer. Now, as you can see, the first part of the contract is pretty basic. Now, we are going to talk about broker and client obligations. Now, paragraph 5, broker's obligations, is very important because it lays out the broker's obligations to the buyer client. This paragraph states that the broker will use their best efforts to assist their client in acquiring a property in the market areas identified, negotiating the terms of the acquisition, and comply with all other provisions of the agreement. Number 6, client's obligations, is the last paragraph on page 1 and speaks to the client's obligations, which specifies that the client will work exclusively through this particular broker and real estate professional that is listed under number 1, parties, so that they can work together to acquire a property, negotiate the acquisition of the property in the market area that's defined in the agreement. It also states that the buyer will inform other brokers, salespersons, sellers, and builders with whom the buyer has been in contact with to inform them that they are being exclusively represented by this broker and real estate professional. It also states that the buyer will comply with all other provisions of the agreement. So we have gotten through the first page of the buyer representation agreement. And I think we're going to stop here because next week I'm going to cover broker compensation, which has a lot of information to go over. In the meantime, give me a call if you've got any questions. Would love to hear from you.